was. This is
This is an arc analysis.
No, this is arc
This is arc
analysis.
analysis.
This is arc
This
analysis.
is arc analysis. This
This
is arc analysis.
Arc analysis.
It counts. Counts as an intro.
Does that count?
Counts as an intro.
Counting it?
Oh, are you gonna re-edit it? You want to re-edit this?
Criminal. Lawless. Published by Icon, which is Marvel Comics, by the way. 2007. Written by Ed Brubaker. Drawn by Sean Phillips.
Dynamic duo.
It's my favorite combination. I'm not going to pretend like I don't love this type of stuff. I love their work.
You keep front loading it, yeah.
Somewhat love. Well, I realized like the first volume of Criminal we did like in the 30s or the 20s. It was like the 24th or 34th. I was like, that's been a while. Almost 100 days.
They weren't part of the 6-pack?
They were, but that was so long ago.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was like, you know what, let's get the second one in here. And so that's what we did. 6 issues. It's the way they numbered them is weird though. I put Criminal Volume 2 Lawless, but technically it's just called Criminal Lawless. And there's a Volume 2 afterwards, which is technically Volume 3. I don't know. It's weird. So it's Criminal issues number 6 to 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Volume 2, even though technically it's not right. It's just that's for my mind.
Hey man,
I like order.
It's our podcast. Yeah, I would throw an order there. Lawless is correct for what we're reading for the way that we number and order things. But
so Tracy Lawless, when he finds out about his dead brother a year after his death, escapes prison and joins up with his brother's old crew to try and find out how the death happened. What he doesn't know is that the money he used to get where he needs to be with the crew is leaving a paper trail, and getting into the crew isn't always as easy as it seems.
Amazing premise, amazing start, amazing MO. You kind of understand what he wants to do, why he's doing it, and not necessarily how, but that's the joy of reading the book, how he's going to do it. No complaints there.
No, it actually kind of starts out I don't want to say run of the mill, but just kind of not super duper exciting. It just kind of starts. I was like, okay, this guy's in prison. He gets out of prison very easily, but I understand that's just to get the story on the move.
Right. Very paint by numbers, but that's okay. They had to set up kind of the mood and the tone of the book, and they do it. So to piggyback what you're saying, the first 2 issues I would say are the ones that you would skip if you're going to skip anything. Things really start picking up by the time you hit issue number 8, and then it's a whirlwind ride all the way to 10.
Yeah, and 8 would be like the 3rd issue in the run because we're doing 6 to 10. Man, it peaks right in that middle part though.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, when they find out like because of the whole setup, right? He tries to get in with the crew. He gets in kind of easily. Once again, I understand it's part of the process, right? They lose their driver, and all of a sudden, this other driver kind of shows up. Like there's a bit of times in between, but it's a little convenient, right?
But I like the way that they handle the driving because what he's whipping around. I don't know the make and the model of the car, but it reminded me of the movie Bullet. If you've ever seen Bullet, a Steve McQueen movie, where he's just flying all over these streets. It's San Francisco in the movie. I guess it's probably like an eastern city in the comic.
Yeah.
But you see this
it's a Charger, by the way.
Okay, there you go. Weathered old man, gray hair, but he knows how to whip a car around and constantly eluding cops left and right. Yeah. So anytime, what's her name, Mallory?
Yeah, Mallory, yeah.
Is in the shotgun seat, you can feel sort of that adrenaline of like, you can see what's going to inevitably happen between those two because she's getting a kick from how good he is behind the wheel, right? So I loved issue 7 for that because that's really just their relationship more than anything else, and just how basically Pussy's gonna get him killed, but like how he is proven to be the right next man up for the job.
Which is interesting about this is that Pussy got him killed, and then Pussy's gonna get him killed. Like 2 different hymns, right? Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like I was reading this book and I was laughing. I was like, "Oh, Pussy's gonna get him killed times 2 in this."
Yep, cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, cut from the same cloth. But that moment, like once he gets into the crew, like you're saying, they test his driving, they do the driving around, and then they learn that the money that he stole is like counterfeit money.
That was hilarious.
That's when I was like, this is incredible. And then it just kind of, that was like the peak though.
That is the peak, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not crazy because it kind of just tapered off after that, and I was like, oh,
Well,
okay.
there's two like revelations, and like the big revelation is the twist that you end up finding. I think you would have picked up fairly soon of like the mystery of his brother's death, and it's like, okay, cool,
Yeah,
that was good writing, but I followed along to it. But then the boss behind the boss, that's what I was like, I don't want this. There was a runaround, and the last issue, like that's what irks me because it's building to this big kind of crescendo and peak, and he finds out the information and he's done all the stuff that he needs to do, and he double crosses his own crew so he can get his revenge, and he finally meets up with the person that has done all this damage to his family life. And I'm undercutting the fact that in each issue they give you these amazing flashbacks to how he lived his life when he was a boy with his brother, and that's some of the best emotional beats and story writing is all the flashbacks to he's Tracy and his brother is
Ricky. Ricky.
Ricky, and I loved the slow burn of that.
I'm nodding along with you because I wanted to make that a point too. Because in the past, I've complained in books like, oh, there's too many flashbacks, or they take too much time doing these flashbacks. But in this book, there's a lot of them, but they're
Hmm.
done masterfully because it's like
Hmm.
it's no more than like maybe a page. I'm just here's the flashback of how we got here, and then we can keep going. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
And to see the growth of Ricky, right? Like you get to
Yeah,
see him as a tiny boy in like maybe an early issue, but by the time you reach the final issue, you see him as a grown man, and it catches up to kind of everything that became all the choices that were put on him that turned him into who he became, and the ultimate choice that ended up getting him killed. I thought that was genius.
hmm
It's just you don't get the satisfaction of when Tracy figures out who did what, why, and then the resolution from that. Because then there's kind of a mislead to be like, okay, you're gonna work for me now,
yeah.
and
You want a job?
on to the next book. Yeah, I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like you had me at my heartstrings, right? There's even moments where like they go to. I like. There's a moment in the book where Tracy's going to the graveyard to go pay his respects,
Awesome.
and that's how he gets found out by Mallory. It's like Mallory's like, oh shit, like she puts two and two together, and everyone's like, so like as a reader, I'm just like, that's great, and then the writing hits because now the characters now understand what the audience already knows, and now you're building to this feverish pitch of like what's Tracy gonna do now that he has all this information now, and what's Mallory gonna do now knowing that like, oh, I've been slamming both brothers, like this is a very dark situation, and it's not satisfying, and it could have
No,
been
it's not.
so easily satisfying.
Yeah.
Like it was right there, and they're like, "Nah, we're not going to give you the candy. You can look at the candy, you can smell the candy, you can even hear us crinkle the wrapping paper on the candy, but can you taste it? No, you can't taste it." And then they literally throw it in the gutter, and they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's go over here to this burger store." And it's like, I don't want burgers now. We were talking about candy for like
Yeah.
5 issues.
I agree with you because it's like you're kind of waiting for that big showdown at the end, and
Hmm.
it's within his crew. He takes out the mastermind first, so he's
Yes,
just dead. Simon, right? He's just dead, and then he sets up the other two guys to
which is
get
great.
caught by the cops, and then he just takes Mallory to his childhood home, and then is like, "I know you killed my brother," type thing. He's like, "But you can go free." Well, that's not really satisfying. I
No,
thought there'd be
not
like,
at all. With how great the writing is up to that point,
and I thought
because
Tracy was going to die. Personally, I thought Tracy was going to get cooked, and Mallory, I wasn't sure what her fate, but I was pretty sure Tracy was going to die.
I was
But
reversed.
then,
I thought Mallory was gonna cost them the caper, but she was gonna get killed because like I want the satisfaction of killing the
right?
woman. But then you get the revelation that like I keep wanting to say Ricky, yeah, Ricky kind of deserved it. Ricky was an asshole by the end of
He
his
was an
life.
asshole.
He was a wife beater. He was a
Yeah.
womanizer. He was a drunk.
So that whole thing is cool because Tracy throughout the book is remembering Ricky as a kid because they get
Yes,
separated as teenagers, and
correct.
Tracy gets sent to like the army basically, and Ricky's kind of left to his own devices with their abusive father. And the way he remembers him and the way he talks about him, he being Tracy, talks about him throughout the book. He's like this innocent kid who has no street smarts,
Hmm.
and then it turns out in the end he became this monster.
Yeah, he became his father.
Yeah, he became his father, and he's like, oh, so he's not what I thought, type thing, and
No.
it eventually literally ended getting himself killed for the way he acts, right?
Right.
And Tracy kind of has like a moment of like wow, okay. I think that's why he lets Mallory go because he's like, wow, my brother's not who I thought he was.
But I feel like with how masterful the writing has been, there's a better way of doing that
Yep.
because you were building up this kind of emotional tensity as the reader to be like something has to happen, something has to blow
Yeah.
up, and because Tracy's been written as like this stone cold, like not necessarily killer but criminal essentially, right? And like
He's a hard ass.
and even smart enough to know that like the heat is closing in on him too, right? There's the whole moment of like he figures out that it's counterfeit money and like people are tracking him, so he has to change the motel room to another motel room, but doesn't let Mallory know what's going on. Like he's got a lot of things juggling, but he doesn't really have an offset to like let go of that steam. So like this was the moment where it's like, okay, he's gonna finally blow up. I don't know how, but he has to do something. But just for him to like kind of pussyfoot and be like, you can go, didn't match up to
Yeah.
everything that you've been building up for the last 5 issues. Like it was only like 3 pages where you're just like, you know what? I took you here, and like you should probably just go.
Yeah.
There's a way of doing that I think you could have satisfied the reader, but I just don't know if they were building to whatever his next caper is going to be because the last page is like, all right, I'll see you in the next one. Essentially, keep
Yeah. I
reading,
don't know.
guys.
I don't know if he's gonna come back. He might. They might because the last. Although I guess the last volume of Criminal, everybody dies, right?
I would hope so.
I think so. No, the first volume of Criminal. I'm pretty sure everybody
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
everybody
yeah, yeah,
dies. I'm pretty sure.
right.
It's been a while since we read it, but I was like, oh yeah, everybody. This one not so much. So I don't know what the next volume brings, but no, I agree with you because it's like it's that those middle issues are the best. I was like, man,
Mhm.
because the first couple issues are all set up, and those middle issues, I was like,
It's all
here we
world
go,
building, and you get to
here
see
we
what they
yeah,
do in the world, and
and
the
it's
art
like
really solidifies that, right?
yeah,
Nothing's like showboaty, right? It's very much subdued because the writing is so great, and you
mm,
just get these little snapshots of just like how these guys are living their lives. It's very moody and like tonally with the color schemes. Like you're not getting a lot of bright colors unless it's light,
yeah,
but like nobody's ever straight on face. It's always shadows. It's always in darkness. It's always coming out of something, and like that just kept with this slow sort of burn that you were bringing the reader along. That I was like, okay, you got me. Because that first, again, the first one I was like, Coke set me up. Like I'm not gonna like
yeah,
this. But by the second one, I was like, okay, like I see where the combination is gonna happen. And the third one was like, okay, there's something going on with these two, and like,
yeah.
what's gonna
I'm
get him
in.
killed,
Yeah,
and all these other loose ends that he had to tie up and he kind of does, but doesn't really. So
yeah.
like, I don't know if it made sense. I just left with like, what a fart! Like it turned into a whimper.
Yeah, a little bit. It was, yeah, because we've read a lot of this team's books, and this one's not one of my favorites.
No,
Um, but that's because we know what the writing team or the creative team is capable of. Like the art is
hmm
amazing in this.
yeah,
It fits this type of vibe so well that it's such a pleasure to look at when you're reading. But you're right. The first issue is a little bit slow, and then it kind of gets into it, and then it just doesn't end as strong. And something I don't know. It's weird because it's like there's not really anything outright outwardly wrong with the way it ends. It's just not
no.
what you want. It's not as satisfying as you as a reader you think it should be or could be.
Or what you think the writer's building you up for. Like you wouldn't spend all
Mm,
this time doing all these emotional flashbacks if you're just like, I'm just gonna let my brother walk. Like I would have mind of again, like you were saying, your ending. If Mallory gets to jump on, it's like, all right, I killed one brother, I'll kill another one too. Like I'll never be put in that
yeah.
situation again, right? But you only get her being a sort of in a flashback. You don't really get to see her being a sort of in present time.
Mm,
And then for Tracy to understand the kind of the full complexity of who his brother became, I guess there's some sort of guilt there because I remember there's one story that he's talking about how he went off with his dad and
oh
Ricky was
yeah.
left with his mom, and it should have been reversed. Like they both were suited to handle each other's parent better. And I was like, this is great
That's
storytelling,
yeah. That's amazing stories. I agree.
but something has to come from this, and nothing comes from this other than like I guess regret. And he doesn't even have time to. Here's the thing: they don't even let you sit with what emotion he'd be feeling off making that decision because he meets new boss and he's like, hey, you need a job? And I was like, no, like
Yeah.
you could have saved this. This could have been an epilogue. Like you could have done something. You could have been walking in the street. It's because the walls were closing in on him, and then at a certain point, like they just stopped closing.
So was it too short?
Uh,
Like if there was another couple issues in this, maybe it was more time to breathe. It could
the,
have.
I don't know. Are you changing the ending? Are you adding more
No,
characters?
I
Like
don't
what are
know.
you
I don't know.
doing?
That's a
So
good
like
question. That's a good question.
what are you giving me more of? Like, are you just giving me more of the world?
So
Fine, but if the end is gonna be the same, I'm still gonna be angry.
yeah, fair enough. That no, the thought came to my mind because you were talking about how he doesn't have time to process what's going on. It's kind of like, yeah, it's true. So what if there was a bit more time? Would that change anything? But if you're right, if the ending's still the same, it's such a weird ending.
Yeah, but that's the thing I like about like the sort of the criminal understanding, like, or the criminal mindset. You don't have a lot of time to like process things. You have to react.
Right.
Like, it's very much a reactional job. Like, if you're not on the ball, you're gonna get shot. But this time he's not on the ball, and nobody gets shot. Like,
Yeah.
she leaves with a bag of money on the bus.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real shootout with the cops. Like, there could have been some real comeuppance with the other crew members that just get. And I laughed at like how he just kind of threw them to the wolves and just called the cops on them. But like then they leave that scene, so we don't get that chaos, right? Like, there's
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
there's no carnage in the end. And this is a whole book that seemed to be building to some sort of carnage, but it ends with a job offer. And I was like, this seems like a completely different tonal shift from everything that you've been building me. So I felt a little hoodwinked, but
Yeah.
I can't say I didn't enjoy getting all the way to that point. Like, it's not a minor detail because of the ending. You got to stick to landing, but everything up till that was really, really, really well done.
Yeah.
And that's why like we're bitching now. It's like, oh, you're so close, man. We you could have went into the Pantheon. This would have been like a top 10 AA. Well, top 20 AA maybe.
Yeah. Say top 25.
But yeah, but now you know. Now it's like, oh, I remember this book, but I'll remember it because you had something and you decided not to follow through with the original ending.
Well, and to go along with that, we rate this on a good or bad basis. Boom for good, ba for bad, whoosh for what did I just read. Danky, what do you give this?
I still have to give it a boom.
Yeah, because I was going to give it a boom. Okay.
Everything I read up until that point was good. The mood was good. The art was good. The writing was great. The flashbacks, I have a emotional connection to Tracy and everything that he was going through. I like the whole Mallory throw in there, like the whole fun tie-ins about like when she first gets the nun outfit and like she wants to
that was fun.
She wants to role play with that before they use that for the Christmas. The fact that it was a Christmas caper, right? Like, you're building Christmas. Like, you had all these things and they were great, great, great. This could easily be turned into a movie. It's just, I know if they did, they definitely changed the ending.
Yeah.
And so I can't knock you for the fact that like one page threw it off. Because if I never got that ending page and you left me on a cliffhanger, I'd be like, bro, we got to read the fucking final volume of Criminal to see how it ends. Yeah. And that probably would have been a better choice of like all we get to see the final page is like Mallory and Tracy go into their old house and him pull the gun and be like, all right, we'll see you next month. I'd be like, oh my God, what do you think's gonna happen? He's gonna shoot her, he's gonna shoot him. But it's like no, just let it go.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a soft boom, but we don't rate scale the rating like that, right? But because I did enjoy it. I was like, man, and it's like I said, those middle issues, man, when he's leaving the hotel and the guys like jump him, the four guys, and then right after the counterfeit money reveal, like this is great. And then
people are following him in the streets, so you got to start shooting people. It's like, I like when the walls are closing on him, he's the best. When he's behind the car, he's the best. When he's in the bedroom with his girl, he's the best because he's either banging her, trying to keep her calm, or like in his mind he'd be like I gotta figure out the situation because this is totally fucked up that I'm fucking my dead brother's girl.
Yeah, and he says that
to
too.
Get information.
He's like, but it's all for means, basically. It's like I like when he's talking to himself. He's like, I hope I don't have to kill her. But the other ones I don't really care about. And it's like, wow, man, you just ice in his veins.
Which I loved. And so like it's such a 180 to get to the end. He's like, I softened up on you. You can just go take the money, get out of here. Money doesn't mean anything. It's like,
yeah, which you kind of knew was coming, but you were hoping it didn't, right?
I get, but there's the way of doing things and the way of doing things, and you could have turned him into a cooler dude of doing that as a way of doing it. Like he looks again pussyfooted. He could have got pushed into that situation. He's like, you got to get out of here, right? I got to go take on these new guys and whatever. But
yeah, I don't have time to kill you right now.
yeah. But I'll see you soon. Like I'll follow. Like that would have been better. I was like, cool. Like leave it open ended. But
what was the other one that we? What was it called? The one with the superhero stuff that he did.
Oh, with the triplets.
Yes.
I want to go back to that book. That book was hilarious.
Because that's still.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's
he's trying. He's trying, so that's why it's entertaining.
Yes.
This one, they're in their bag, but I don't know who decided. Like, hey, I guarantee this wasn't the original ending. I guarantee he was like, let's shoot the girl.
Yeah.